Welcome to Unit 6, Day 2, and it will be on similar triangles. Similar polygons. We're going to start with similar polygons. Similar polygons are polygons with the same shape, but a different size. Polygons are similar if corresponding angles are congruent, but corresponding sides are proportional. The ratio of corresponding sides is called the scale factor, and if polygons are similar, then their perimeters are also proportional. Let's take a look at this. What is the scale factor of ABC to DEF? We're going to find out that order definitely matters, because when we read this first problem and it says what is the scale factor of triangle ABC to triangle DEF, look and see that ABC is a small triangle to the big triangle. So we always want to do small to big. So here we see ABC. We take one side, and that side is 8. We're looking at AB. And AB is going to correspond with side DE. Okay? So when we look at AB, it's 8. When we look at DE in the other triangle, is 12, and we must simplify. So the scale factor is 2 to 3. So it's 2/3 the size of the bigger triangle. Let's look at the next one. It says, what is the scale factor of DEF to ABC? Again, order matters. We're starting with DEF. That's the bigger figure, and we're comparing it to the smaller figure. So we take a side, 12, and put it over 8, and we simplify, and that is 3/2. Now, the next one says what's the ratio of the perimeter. The perimeter is the outside of the figure, the distance around the outside. So let's figure out what the perimeter is of DEF. So the perimeter of DEF is 54 units, and the perimeter of ABC is 36 units. And when we simplify that, guess what we get? We get 3 to 2, which is the same as 3/2. So our proportionate perimeter is the same as the proportion of the sides, the scale factor. Similarity statements. A valid similarity statement must match the corresponding angles and sides. Write a similarity statement for the triangles above. Now, let me just let you know that here, the symbol looks like this. It looks like a curve, and it looks like that. That's a similarity statement. When we get ready to write it out, and we say triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. So basically, we're saying they have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. We're going to do some practice problems from page 3. We're going to do problem numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7. So it says in the directions to list all the congruent angles and write a proportion that relates to the corresponding sides. So we're going to start with the angles. It does say that the angles are congruent. So we're going to write down the angles from the first triangle, which is J, K, and L. Now it says they are congruent, so we're going to write our congruent symbol, which is the equal sign, and then we have the similarity symbol over top of it, and this makes the congruent symbol. There we go. So angle JKL is congruent to angle PMN. So angle P, angle M, and angle N. So those are the congruent angles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write sides, and when we write sides, we write them with 2 letters. Okay, we're going to look at the first 2 letters in JKL, match it with the first 2 letters in PM. Pause the video and try it yourself, and then hit play and see if you got that correct. If you remember that from congruent triangles, a unit we studied 2 units ago. All right, so take a look at what we've done. I have triangle JKL, and I pulled it apart. I put JK, KL, and JL all at the top. Okay, and then the corresponding sides from PMN, I put it at the bottom. And these are your proportions. And this is how you set up a proportion. So on this slide, I want you to do the same thing. Write down the congruent angles and then write down the corresponding proportional sides. All right, there you have it. These are the congruent angles and these are the proportionate sides. Notice I put the black letters with JKLM on the top and the blue letters with QRSP on the bottom. Order does matter. So now let's see how we apply all of this. Here, the figures below are similar with a scale factor of 6 to 5. So what we're going to do with the scale factor of 6 to 5, we're going to use it to set up a proportion. So 6, which is the bigger figure, over 5, which is the smaller figure. The bigger figure, one side is x, and the other side is 28. We're going to use our cross products. I'm going to do 5 times x is equal to 6 times 28. So we come up with 5x is equal to 168. We're going to divide each side by 5 and we get x is equal to 33.6. Okay. All right, in our next slide. So here we're told that PQRS is similar to WXYZ. So the first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and set up our proportions. So we're going to do the first 2 letters, which are P to Q. And then right next to it, we're going to take the next 2 letters, which are Q to R. And the next 2 letters, which are R to S. And then the first and the last, which is S to P. Okay. So we did P to Q, we did Q to R, and then we did R to S, and then we did the P to S. So we're going to do the same thing with our next figure. Now we're going to take W to X, and we're going to write it right here. So we'll have all of our proportions. So this is W to X. This one is going to be X to Y. And this one is going to be Y to Z. And then the first to the last, W to Z, or Z to W. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a proportion. And let's figure out, here's X here, and X is represented by S to R. So where is S to R? It's right here. So I'm going to put an X right here. It's on the top. And S to R goes with Y to Z. So let's find out what Y to Z is. Okay, so here's Y to Z. It's 32. So I have X over 32. All right, what else do we need for this proportion? We have Z to W. Z to W, which is 40. And so 40 is going to go on the bottom. Okay, so here's Z to W right here. And what goes over Z to W? S to P. And if you take a look, S to P is 75. So I'm going to write 75 right here. All right. Did I need the front part of this proportion? No, I didn't, so I can go ahead and erase that. And so now I want to do my cross products, 40 times X, and then I'll do 75 times 32. So we get 40X is equal to 2400, and then we divide by 40, and we get X is equal to 60. Now, I want you to go to page 5 and 6. You're going to do problems 2, 4, 6, and 8 first. And for every problem, you need to set up the proportion using the sides, and then you need to set up the proportion algebraically and solve just like we did in this video. Then you come back to the video and I'm going to show you the answers. Thank you. Here are the answers, and this concludes Unit 6, Day 2.